Also, folks, tonight is the first night of Passover, as it seems as though families must change some of their holiday traditions this year, gathering around the Seder table, one of the most meaningful traditions of Passover. But this year, it's going to have to be done virtually for most. In Israel tonight, starting at 7 p.m., a total lockdown will take place, lasting until Friday morning to keep people safe and from spreading the coronavirus. However, while this nationwide quarantine ensues, it is important for families to still come together and figure out creative ways to have a happy Passover. Here to talk about how your family can still celebrate this year during this pandemic is our panel of the day. Aish HaTorah Global CEO, Rabbi Stephen Berg, and Torah College Distinguished University Professor Thane Rosenbaum. Welcome, gentlemen. Let me ask you, Rabbi Stephen Berg, if I could ask you first, how is the process going to be different? If you do this virtually, are you still going to go through the 4 questions? If so, how do you see that unfolding?
You know, it's really amazing because there is, on the one hand, we're a community. We always come together. But ultimately, there's about the individual connection to God. So, you know, as long as someone is really focused on the text and discussion, the back and forth, it's okay. One can be a little bit isolated, yet be connected to others and really be able to do this in a powerful way. One of the ironic things is you're having families communicate more through Zoom and through all these different ways than they have in years. You know, people that haven't been together all of a sudden now are doing Zoom calls and connecting from all around the globe. So in certain ways, there's a little bit of a silver lining there.
Yeah, I think you're right. And Thane, I don't know if that's been your experience. Now I'm not Jewish, but the services that we have on Sunday, we're watching them. And then, just like you were saying, Rabbi, we have family in Texas. We don't typically talk to them. Now we're doing it by Zoom every week. So, Thane, how do you see this happening tonight and into tomorrow?
Well, Bob, if you think about it, the very fact that it's being done in such a unorthodox way, this new, modern, socially distant, internet-ready, friendly way, only creates more of an opportunity for reflection, right? Because the questions are, you know, the 4 questions always start with, why is this night different from all other nights?
Yeah.
Well, if you think about it, this night, the first question this year is actually very interesting. It's not just what happened 4,000 years ago, but what's different this night? Well, we're not in the same room. We're doing it via Zoom or FaceTime. We don't have the full experience of, you know, being near humanity, but instead tapping into the world of the internet and the online digital highway in order to bring us closer together at a time when we're a danger to each other. This is a way for us to still be a family and still manage this crisis.
Rabbi, is there anything that is a challenge that you want to make sure that families keep in mind?
Yeah, look, when people are isolated, that's really been the biggest concern. And I think that goes for all the religions, just people that might be at home alone for the first time. And we want to know that they're loved. And, you know, we've made that point that although physically you may be separated, in our hearts, you know, we're together. One of the most beautiful things I think that's come out, you mentioned before correctly, that in Israel, as of 7 p.m. tonight, there's a total lockdown through the holiday. People can't even leave their homes. So one of the great rabbis, Rabbi Chaim Kainevsky, that lives in Israel, he asked for all the children, when it comes time for the Manishtana, to ask the 4 questions, that they should go to their balconies or open up their front door and say them as loudly as they can, so people that are isolated will hear them. And it's amazing because that's not a technological fix, but it's one of the most beautiful things that I've heard, to have thousands of children all over Israel really raise their voices to people next door that they may not have known.
Rabbi Stephen Berg, Thane Rosenbaum, thank you, gentlemen, for joining us, and I hope you have a good Passover. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to have continuing coverage of the coronavirus outbreak after this.